Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Blade Bias, and it is finally time to cover Nabalis. Nabalis has recently come out with 3 different trainers, all very good in their own right. We're only going to talk about 2 today because one of these I personally think is much more interesting than all the others, and I have a lot more to say about it. First, though, look at this case that they come in. Any Nabalis product that you buy, well, maybe not any Nabalis product, but I know these come in this case, which has 3 separate balisong slots, comes with lube, Loctite, extra hardware like the Vulp. Like, this is really solid. It looks like Nabalis has really taken the stuff that Will did with the Vulp to heart and understand that that's what made them, the Vulp, so popular specifically. So, like, hats off to Nabalis. This stuff is awesome. Today, though, we're going to talk about these two, the Hydra and the Trident, because they're both okay. And by okay, I mean really, really good. But I have far more to say about the marbles than I really do these two. Let's start off with the Trident, or as I like to call it, the ugliest blade I have ever seen in my life, and it only gets worse when you see it in person. I seriously underestimated how bad this thing looked, and I am heavily critical of how bad this thing looked. I'm sorry, Nabalis. This thing's terrible. Oh my god, and it rings a lot. It's like a squid trainer. I didn't even notice until now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it rings like a squid trainer. But yeah, this thing's just horrendously ugly. But the only reason I'm harping on it so much is because I actually really like it. It flips shockingly well. A lot of people are obviously going to compare this to... What the hell are you doing, Junior? You laying the... He's just laying there. Okay. A lot of people are going to compare this to a Nautilus, and I think that's a pretty fair comparison. You've got channel aluminum handles with G10 scales. It's a pretty safe comparison to make. But for being $100 cheaper than a Nautilus, even more actually, I think this is more like $140 cheaper than a Nautilus, this is a very competent flipper. The G10 doesn't feel the best, but much like the Cygnus, at least it feels solid rather than coming off of my hands in a fine powder, like most other G10 that I've tried. And it flips, it's more neutral than the Nautilus. Still has, I think, a little bit of handle bias, but like not as boring as the Nautilus. It is still like very basic, don't get me wrong. But if I had to compare flipping this, or if I had to pick between flipping this and a Nautilus, I think I would pick this every time. Not to say it's a better product, because like, oh wait, no, it doesn't have tap. Oh, well, that's embarrassing. But not to say like it's a better, or it's a better product than the Nautilus, because the Nautilus I think feels like a little better. I think the G10 feels a little better. I think the Nautilus looks way better. Actually, yeah, the G10 on the Nautilus feels way, way better. This feels like kind of sandpapery, whereas this is more smooth. But the Nautilus just kind of flips boring. If we're looking at flipping only, I do kind of prefer the Trident. Still isn't my favorite thing in the world for one specific reason. These things right here are just mind-bogglingly uncomfortable, and I don't even know why they're there. Because when you fan, at least when I fan, I can just feel this area just rubbing against my hands the whole time, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. It just feels weird, and it doesn't do much for grip. Except for like the beginning of a fan, if you fan a little lower down, it's just weird. I don't know. That's my biggest complaint with the Trident, is the fact that that is there. Also the jimping, it's got Nautilus syndrome. It's like I'm gripping onto the G10 more so than the jimping really. I can feel it a little better than I can the Nautilus, because I think it sticks out like a tiny bit. But it's not the best. Like, the Trident is really good, don't get me wrong. I just, like, personally, that's why it's going in this video, because I'm putting it with the Hydra, in the sense that, like, it's not my favorite of the 3. Probably my second favorite of the 3, actually. Compared to a Nautilus, though, and just as a normal flipper, let's just look at it in a vacuum. It flips really well. Fans really well, choker fans really well, chaplains really well. The ring is a little annoying now that I've noticed it, And the bottle opener is incredibly sharp. Don't get caught on that. Like, seriously, don't get caught on that, because I feel like it would hook you really badly. But this thing is solid overall. Also solid overall, especially for the price, actually, because this is, I don't know, all of these range from like $70 to $100, I think. So that is solid. If you're not looking for an Orion, these are pretty good replacements. Now, this is the Hydra, and the Hydra is also really, really cool, because it's like the Wave. It's not a live blade, it's a false live blade that you can sharpen, but unlike the Wave, it doesn't have this crazy bulbous tip that would make it harder to sharpen. Now, the Hydra is noticeably more handle biased than the Trident is, which for some people is going to be good, but for me isn't great. This is, I would put this right in the realm of like, oh, it's like a Triton or an Arctic. It's like that beginner, like $80, $100 trainer, kind of handle bias for like beginners to really learn on. But still flips like pretty well for intermediate flippers and advanced flippers. But not everyone's going to choose it because, you know, like not everyone likes handle bias. It's not so handle biased that I don't like it. It just makes fans a little wobbly. It's like the Medusa maybe. Makes fans just a little wobbly and just like kind of not my favorite, but I can understand why people would like this, and it's still very, very good. Don't let me say that this is bad, because this is leagues better than anything that was on Amazon before. Like the what am I looking for here? Like the Comet, the Adax, stuff like that. I think this definitely beats that. Does it beat the Vulp? Maybe. But I think the higher price is something to take into account. I don't know if the Hydra flips better than a Vulp for the extra like $30 that you're paying. I do think a Chaplin's better than a Vulp though, like way better than a Vulp because it's got more handle bias. So yeah, that's the Hydra. Oh, I didn't even talk about this surface texturing is really, really cool. Really nice feeling. Not the best for grip, but not the worst either. I can live with it. The tip is legitimate. Oh, wait, no. I must be thinking, no, the tip is kind of sharp. I know Ty has a balisong where the tip is like wicked. This is kind of a sharp tip. Like, I definitely wouldn't want to be poked in the palm by it. And then the sides are just kind of but the finish feels really good. It doesn't have like a weird, it almost feels like the polished knives that Ty does. It doesn't have like the weird bead blast finish that like the Vulp and the Triton and the Mako and all of them have. It's just kind of like a more like glossy finish, and I like it. It does good. Grip is fine. Not the worst, not the best. Surface texture is nice. Blade spine is comfortable. It's a solid balisong. I like it. It just is just a bit too handle biased for me. I'm definitely looking for something that flips a little more neutrally than this. And something that's just this is like very basic. This is like Nabalis' response to something like the Orion. It's just like a very basic balisong. Right, Junior? Right, Junior? Yeah, pretty basic balisong. So that's going to do it for this video. We are going to talk about the marbles next time because this thing, I have a lot to say about this thing. So yeah, we'll get into that next time. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Say bye, Junior. He kind of said bye. Okay, cool.